All right, so we're back and diving straight into the NFL this time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're tackling the big question. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs so good?
It's a question on everyone's mind.
It really is, especially with their roster looking a little different this season, new faces.
Yeah, right?
You sent over some really interesting stuff, the play-by-play of that wild overtime win against Tampa Bay. That one was crazy. And then LeSean McCoy's take on it all on Fox News.
Oh, yeah. McCoy's always got some interesting insights.
He does. So we're going to go beyond the headlines here, dig into what's making this 8-0 start happen, look at the tactics, maybe even some controversies. Who knows?
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do it. So that Tampa Bay game, that was a nail-biter.
Oh, tell me about it.
Those last minutes of regulation had me, seriously on edge.
Same here.
And, the Buccaneers have had their struggles this year, but they pushed the Chiefs.
They did. They really did.
All the way to overtime.
Absolutely. I mean, that just shows you they have the potential, even if they're not quite there yet this season.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but let's be real. Everyone wants to talk about Patrick Mahomes.
Of course.
18 game-winning drives just this season. It's insane.
Unbelievable, right.
Even with Winfield almost intercepting that pass, somehow Mahomes pulls out another win.
It's like he doesn't even feel pressure.
It's wild, isn't it? And the sources you shared, they really highlight this composure he has.
Yeah, you can see it in his decision making.
Like he can dissect those defenses, knows when they're going to blitz.
And he can adjust plays right there at the line.
Amazing. Now, there's been some chatter about the Buccaneers, specifically their choice to kick the extra point instead of going for 2 at the end of regulation.
Right.
Do you think they blew a chance to snag that win?
It's tough to say. When you're up against Mahomes, a guy who just thrives in those clutch moments,
right?
Maybe taking the safer route felt like the best option at the time, in the heat of the moment. It's that classic risk versus reward dilemma.
Totally. And it's easy for us to analyze it all after the fact, but in the moment, with the energy shifting back and forth like that,
it's a different story.
I get why they went that way. But let's talk about Mahomes in overtime, because he wasn't going for those huge flashy plays, was he?
No, not at all.
It seemed more like patient, strategic.
Absolutely. Classic Andy Reid coaching there, that methodical, controlled approach.
Right.
Those short passes to Kelce, so effective, especially on those short yardage situations.
Those are always nerve-wracking.
Oh, for sure. And using both Hunt and Caliendo strategically kept the Buccaneers guessing.
That's right. And speaking of short yardage, for anyone who might not be super familiar with football lingo.
Yeah, good point.
Basically, it means those plays where the offense needs to gain a tiny bit of yardage.
1 or 2 yards usually.
Yeah, to get a first down. Super tense moment.
Oh, definitely. And you were curious about Andy Reid's influence in all this.
I was.
Well, this game was a prime example of his coaching style just meshing perfectly with Mahomes' style.
It was, wasn't it? They were in the same wavelength?
Exactly.
Right.
Reid's all about efficient offense. You saw that in how Mahomes took what the defense gave him,
right,
moved the chains methodically,
and wore down the Bucs in the process.
Exactly.
Now, it's not just the veteran shining. The Chiefs have brought in some impressive new players this season, guys like DeAndre Hopkins.
McCoy hit the nail on the head when he said these new additions aren't just filling spots, they're making the whole team better.
It's true.
It really shows how good the coaching staff is at finding talent.
Yeah.
And how quickly these players are adapting, learning the system.
It's not easy coming in midseason.
Not at all.
But they've done it seamlessly. And you know what else adds a layer of intrigue here? That near penalty on Jawan Taylor, right before the Chiefs game-winning touchdown.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about tiny details changing the whole game.
I know, right. Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. Baker Mayfield, even in defeat, had a pretty impressive game for the Buccaneers.
He did.
You got to admire his resilience, especially considering the history he has with Mahomes going way back to their college days.
It's quite a story, those two.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And he faced so much adversity in this game, but just kept fighting.
He did.
That completion to Shepard while playing with a messed up hamstring was incredible.
That play just summed up his whole game.
It did. Showed his determination.
To deliver even under pressure.
So, big picture now, the Chiefs are 8-0. They look pretty much invincible.
Right.
But are they truly unbeatable?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Right. They're a force, no doubt.
Right.
But as we all know, this is the NFL. Anything can happen on any given Sunday.
That's true.
And that upcoming game against the 49ers, that's going to be a real test for them.
Oh, yeah. That's one I'll be watching for sure. think the 49ers can find any cracks in their armor. Like, where could other teams even challenge them strategically?
Well, as potent as the Chiefs' offense is, their defense has shown some weaknesses here and there.
Okay, interesting.
They haven't been as consistently dominant on that side of the ball.
I see. So you're saying
a team with a strong running game, a defense that can put constant pressure on Mahomes, that could be a problem for them.
Right.
That being said, never underestimate Andy Reid's ability to adapt, change his game plan.
He's a mastermind.
He is. And with Mahomes leading the charge, they always have a chance.
That's for sure. So maybe not completely unbeatable, but the Chiefs have set the bar pretty high this season.
They have. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of their season plays out.
It really is. It's what makes the NFL so captivating. The unpredictability, the rivalries.
It keeps us all coming back for more.
It does. Now, before we move on, something really jumped out at me from the sources you sent over.
Oh.
Remember how we talked about Mahomes, that almost supernatural calmness he has under pressure?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just him. It seems like that composure is kind of woven through the whole Chiefs organization. You know what I mean?
That's a really insightful observation.
It's not just about individual players. It's a collective mindset, right? The coaches, the front office, even the fans.
It's like they have this unshakable belief in the team that they can overcome anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like a culture of resilience, embracing challenges and using them to fuel themselves.
They don't just face pressure, they thrive on it.
It's kind of scary how good they are.
It is.
Okay, we've talked about Mahomes, almost upset by the Buccaneers, the Chiefs' overall dominance.
Right.
We can't forget all the other players contributing to this success, though.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on Travis Kelce's performance this season? Feels like he's having a career year.
Kelce is just phenomenal. What impresses me most is his consistency. He's always been reliable for Mahomes.
Right.
But this year, he's taken it to a whole new level.
Totally. His route running, his awareness on the field, those hands of his.
A nightmare for defenses.
And remember that play in overtime where he just willed himself to get that first down?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was incredible.
It's that something special, that intangible quality that separates the good players from the greats.
It's fascinating to compare Kelce's journey to, say, Baker Mayfield's.
Yeah.
Both incredibly talented, but their paths have been so different.
It really shows you the complexity of professional sports.
It does, doesn't it? Talent alone isn't enough.
You need skill, opportunity, maybe even a little luck.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Baker Mayfield, even though the Bucs didn't get the win,
right,
got to give him credit for his grit, that determination.
Absolutely. He never gave up, even when things looked bleak.
And there was this moment, I think, right after that amazing catch by Shepard.
Oh, yeah.
You could see it in Mayfield's eyes, that fire.
Determined to lead his team to victory.
It's that kind of spirit that makes him such a compelling player.
It does. It
will be interesting to see how he develops with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, this could be a turning point for him.
Maybe. All right, so we've covered Mahomes, Kelce, Mayfield, the Chiefs' overall dominance. But there's this crucial element we haven't really dived into, coaching. You were curious about Andy Reid's impact on the team.
Very much so.
Well, let's unpack that after a quick break.
Sounds good to me. Coaching is often the unsung hero in all this.
It really is. It's the foundation for any successful team.
And Andy Reid is one of the best in the business, no doubt.
Absolutely. His influence on the Chiefs is undeniable. Yeah. We'll get into his philosophy, his relationship with Mahomes, how his decisions have shaped the team.
I'm particularly interested in how he's adapted his coaching over the years.
Oh, yeah, good point.
To get the most out of each player.
Yeah, because he's had success with veterans like Alex Smith and young stars like Mahomes.
It's remarkable how he blends experience with young talent.
Well, he's created this perfect ecosystem, players thriving, pushing each other.
And don't forget those controversial calls he makes during games.
Oh, I know. Like that near penalty on Jawan Taylor.
It was a gamble, but it paid off.
It did. But it could have gone the other way so easily.
That's what separates the great coaches.
They trust their instincts, even under immense pressure.
Exactly. I'm also curious to hear your take on how Reid's coaching meshes with Mahomes' playing style.
Oh, it's a great question. It's a truly unique dynamic. They have this mutual respect, this understanding.
That's right.
It creates a level of trust, creativity you rarely see.
That's special.
It really is. We'll dig into all that and more after the break.
Looking forward to it. It's clear Andy Reid is the architect behind this dynasty.
No doubt about it. His leadership, his strategies, his ability to build a winning culture.
That's what makes the Chiefs so formidable.
They've got a superstar quarterback, a legendary coach, a talented supporting cast, and a winning attitude.
No wonder they're 8-0.
Right. But, like we said, the NFL is a marathon, not a sprint.
It is.
The road ahead will be tough.
Tough opponents, unexpected challenges.
So can they keep this up, this level of dominance?
Only time will tell. But it's going to be an exciting ride.
Well, will be.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears and talk about the Chiefs' defense. You have some questions about their performance, and I think it's time we break it down.
Yes, definitely. I'm particularly interested in analyzing their defensive schemes, their strengths, their weaknesses, how they measure up against some of the top offenses in the league.
Okay, let's start with Chris Jones.
Yeah.
He's been an absolute beast, putting constant pressure on quarterbacks. What makes him so effective?
Well, Jones is a force of nature. I mean, he's one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in the NFL right now.
He is.
It's that combination of size, strength, and athleticism, a nightmare for offensive line.
Yeah, he's constantly blowing up plays in the backfield.
Exactly. And he's not just a pass rusher. He's incredibly tough against the run, too. A complete player.
Right. But while Jones is a standout, the Chiefs' defense as a whole has faced some hurdles this season, right? Mm-hmm. They've given up some big plays, haven't always been as consistent as they'd probably like.
True. They've had moments where they looked vulnerable, especially against teams with strong passing attacks.
Yeah, and they seem to have trouble sometimes containing those mobile quarterbacks and defending against deep passes.
Yeah, and their secondary, while talented, hasn't always been as tight-knit as they need to be.
Winfield almost intercepting that pass against Tampa Bay, it shows both the potential and the inconsistencies back there.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a great read by Winfield, showing his instincts and athleticism.
But it also shows they're not always in the right position or making the best decisions.
Exactly. So yeah, the Chiefs' defense has the potential to be elite, but there's room for improvement if they want to dominate on that side of the ball.
Okay, interesting. Now, I'm curious about Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs' defensive coordinator.
Yeah. How
has his coaching style influenced their performance?
Well, Spagnuolo is known for being aggressive, those blitz-heavy schemes.
Yeah.
He loves to bring pressure from all angles, disrupt the quarterback's rhythm.
Right. And that can be super effective when it works.
It can. But it can also backfire if the blitz doesn't get there, leaving them open to big plays.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. And it takes a specific kind of player to make it work.
Yeah, I think Spagnuolo has done a decent job with the players he has. He's maximized their strengths, created a unit that, while not perfect, can still make big plays and disrupt offenses.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt and evolve as the season goes on, especially when they face tougher competition in the playoffs.
For sure. Going back to our initial discussion, you were really interested in the mental aspects of the game.
Oh, absolutely. It's often the difference between winning and losing, especially in a pressure cooker like the NFL.
Right. And it's something we don't always talk about enough. But in the sources you shared, there were some fascinating insights into the Chiefs' mental toughness.
Yeah, I noticed that too. This underlying theme of resilience, composure, a never give up attitude. And it seems to run through the whole organization.
Like they built this collective mental strength, staying focused and confident even when things get tough.
Exactly. Think about Mahomes in those clutch moments. He never panics. He stays calm, reads the situation, and makes smart decisions.
He thrives under pressure.
He does. It's a rare quality, something you can't teach.
And it's not just him. It's the whole team. Bouncing back from setbacks, keeping their cool in those crucial moments.
I think a lot of that stems from the culture Andy Reid has created, that environment where players feel supported, empowered to take risks without fearing failure.
Right, a culture that breeds confidence and encourages players to push their limits.
And that mental toughness is contagious. It spreads throughout the team, from the coaches to the players to the support staff.
So how do you think this mental fortitude translates into actual results on the field?
Well, think about those close games the Chiefs have won. In those pressure-packed situations, it's their mental strength that lets them make those key plays, those clutch tackles, and ultimately win the game.
It's like their belief in themselves becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Exactly, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They're not just physically gifted, they're mentally unstoppable.
I also find it interesting that this mental toughness can be developed, strengthened over time.
Absolutely. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill that can be honed through practice, experience, and the right mindset.
So while we focus a lot on the physical side of things, it's clear the mental game is just as important for the Chiefs' success.
It's the unseen force that drives them forward, allowing them to overcome challenges and achieve greatness.
I think it's something we should all pay more attention to as viewers and fans. The mental game is a fascinating aspect of sports that often gets overlooked.
I agree. It's a reminder that success isn't just about physical prowess. It's about mental fortitude, resilience, and an unwavering belief in yourself and your team.
Now, we've been talking a lot about the Chiefs, but let's not forget all the other great teams out there.
Oh, of course. The NFL is full of talented teams and compelling storylines, and that's the beauty of it. Anything can happen on any given Sunday.
That's right. So while the Chiefs are the team to beat right now, we can't rule out upsets and surprises.
Exactly. And that's what keeps us all on the edge of our seats. The unpredictability, the rivalries, the constant pursuit of excellence.
I'm really excited to see how the playoff picture shapes up. So many talented teams vying for that Super Bowl spot.
It's going to be a wild ride. And, going back to what we were discussing about the mental game, the teams that stay composed and focused under pressure will have a big advantage come playoff time.
Oh, for sure. The playoffs are a whole other beast. The intensity is higher, the stakes are higher, the pressure is immense.
The teams that can handle that and rise to the occasion will be the ones hoisting that Lombardi trophy at the end.
Before we move on, I want to touch on something from the sources about the Chiefs' upcoming game against the San Francisco 49ers. It's being touted as a potential Super Bowl preview.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a clash with the Titans, two of the best teams going head-to-head.
What do you think about the 49ers' chances against the Chiefs? Do they have what it takes to pull off the upset?
The 49ers are a tough opponent, no doubt. Strong defense, balanced offense, and Kyle Shanahan, their coach, is known for his innovative play calling.
Right, and Trey Lance, their quarterback, he's a dual threat, can make plays with his arm and his legs.
He's a dynamic player, for sure.
So, not going to be a walk in the park for the Chiefs.
Definitely not. The 49ers could expose some of their weaknesses, especially on defense.
It's going to be a chess match between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan.
Absolutely. Two brilliant offensive minds.
I'm also interested in seeing how Mahomes handles the 49ers defense. They have a powerful front seven that can generate a lot of pressure.
For sure. Nick Bosa is a game wrecker, and Fred Warner is one of the best linebackers in the league.
So Mahomes is going to need to be at his best to avoid those sacks and make those big plays downfield.
It'll be a real test of his agility and his ability to extend plays.
And on the other side, the Chiefs' defense needs to figure out how to contain Trey Lance and that 49ers rushing attack.
Absolutely. If they can do that, they have a good shot at winning.
It's going to be a battle of strengths against strengths.
And a game that could have major implications for the playoff picture.
Now let's switch gears for a minute and talk about the fan experience. One of the things that makes the NFL so special is the passion of the fans.
Oh, absolutely. They bring the energy, the noise, the color to every game.
And the Chiefs have some of the most dedicated fans in the league. Arrowhead Stadium is known for its electric atmosphere.
There's nothing quite like watching a game at Arrowhead. The crowd is deafening. The energy is palpable.
I've heard stories about how opposing teams struggle to even communicate on offense because of the noise.
It's a real home field advantage.
I think it's important to acknowledge the role fans play in a team's success. They provide that extra boost, especially in those close games.
For sure. They're the 12th man on the field, They can shift the momentum of a game with their support.
And it's not just about the noise. It's that sense of community, of belonging.
Exactly. Being a fan is about being a part of something bigger than yourself.
Sharing those highs and lows with people who share your passion.
And that connection is powerful.
We've focused a lot on the Chiefs, their incredible run this season, but let's take a moment to appreciate the NFL as a whole.
Yes, it's such a complex and beautiful sport.
It's always evolving, always surprising us.
A game of strategy, athleticism, and pure determination.
And it brings people together from all walks of life.
It does.
So while we may have our favorite teams and players, let's not forget to appreciate everyone involved in making the NFL the spectacle that it is.
From the coaches, to the players, to the referees, to the fans, it's a collective effort.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to ask our listeners a question.
I'm listening.
We've talked about the Chiefs' dominance, their strengths, their weaknesses, their potential. But what do you think makes a team truly great?
That's a great question.
Is it about championships, or is it something more? Overcoming adversity, demonstrating resilience, inspiring fans, leaving a lasting legacy.
It's probably a combination of all those things. A truly great team excels on the field, inspires their fans, represents the best of the sport.
And leaves a lasting impact, a legacy that continues to inspire.
Beautifully said. Greatness goes beyond wins and losses. It's about the impact you have, the memories you create.
Okay, folks, that's it for this first part of our deep dive into the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL.
We've covered a lot, but we're just getting started.
In part 2, we'll dig even deeper into the game, analyze some key matchups, and explore the human stories behind the helmets.
Stay tuned for more insights and thought-provoking discussions.
We'll be back soon.
See you then.
And remember, the NFL is more than just a game. It's a reflection of our passions, our dreams, and that constant pursuit of excellence.
Well said. You know, it's crazy how a team can be so dominant one minute and then face a real challenge the next. That's what makes the NFL so unpredictable, right?
It really is. It's like trying to solve a puzzle, figuring out what makes these teams tick and what could potentially trip them up. Remember earlier you mentioned wanting to break down Andy Reid's coaching a bit more?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think now's a good time to dive into the mind of Big Red.
Let's do it. He's been a coaching legend for decades. It's amazing how he adapts to the ever-changing NFL landscape.
You know, I read somewhere that Reid's offensive schemes are like a constantly evolving language. He's always adding new plays, new formations, new ways to keep defenses guessing.
It's true, he's a master of innovation. But it's not just about X's and O's.
Right.
Reid has this incredible ability to connect with his players, build those personal relationships.
I've heard that too.
He creates a culture of trust, accountability. Players feel empowered to take risks, push their limits, you know.
And that trust is so evident in the way Mahomes orchestrates the offense.
It is.
It's like they have this unspoken connection, this intuition that allows them to anticipate each other's moves.
Their relationship is something else. It's like a perfectly synchronized dance.
Yeah.
Mahomes is the virtuoso, improvising, making those split-second decisions.
Right.
And Reid is the conductor, guiding the tempo, setting the tone.
And that synergy extends to the whole team, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
The Chiefs play with such unity, such purpose. They execute those plays with precision and passion.
You can tell Reid has instilled a winning mentality in them. They believe in themselves, believe in the system, and they never give up, no matter what the score is.
You know, it's also worth mentioning Reid's ability to adapt his coaching style to different players.
Oh, that's huge.
He's had success with veteran quarterbacks like Alex Smith.
Right.
And then young stars like Mahomes.
He's got a knack for recognizing and nurturing talent. He doesn't force players into a mold.
Like exactly.
He tailors his approach to their strengths and weaknesses.
And that flexibility is so crucial in today's NFL, where rosters are constantly in flux, new talent popping up all the time.
Speaking of new talent, the Chiefs have done a fantastic job integrating those newcomers.
They really have.
Guys like DeAndre Hopkins have fit right into that offensive scheme.
It's like they've been playing together forever.
Hopkins is a true pro.
He is.
Always studying, always working to improve.
And his arrival has given the Chiefs yet another weapon in their offensive arsenal.
It's almost like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Right?
Always 3 steps ahead, anticipating the defense's moves.
Isn't it impressive?
It's a masterclass in offensive football.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can't give all the credit to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
The Chiefs' success is a team effort. Every player, every coach contributes.
You're absolutely right. You could have the best quarterback, the most brilliant coach.
But without a solid supporting cast,
it's not enough.
It's not enough at all. And the Chiefs have that supporting cast.
They do.
Their offensive line gives Mahomes time to work his magic. Their running backs balance out the passing attack. And their receivers, oh man, they're a nightmare for defenses.
And let's not forget about the defense.
Right.
They don't always get the spotlight, but they've made some huge plays this season.
Chris Jones is a one-man wrecking crew on that defensive line.
He is.
And their secondary has shown what they're capable of.
They have. This is a team that can win in different ways. You know?
Exactly.
They can outscore you. They can shut you down on defense.
And they can win those tough, gritty games that really test a team's character.
Yeah, that versatility is what makes them so dangerous.
You never know what to expect from them, but you know they're going to give it their all every single game.
It's like they're a chameleon, adapting to their opponent and the situation.
Exactly.
That's a testament to the coaching staff's ability to prepare them for anything.
It's remarkable, really. It's a remarkable team, both on and off the field. Their success goes beyond football, wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah.
They represent the best of what sports can be. Talent, teamwork, a never-give-up attitude.
You know, I've been thinking about something lately.
What's that?
We've been talking about the Chiefs' dominance, their pursuit of excellence, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But There's more to sports than just winning, isn't there?
Absolutely. Sports can be a powerful force for good in the world.
Exactly. We've seen athletes using their platform to fight for social justice, promote equality, inspire change.
It's been amazing to witness.
It really has. And let's not forget, sports can teach us valuable lessons about teamwork, perseverance, striving for excellence.
Lessons that apply to all aspects of life, not just the playing field.
Right, right. We're here to talk football, but the NFL is more than just a game.
It is.
It's a cultural phenomenon, reflecting our values, aspirations, and our love of competition.
It's become woven into the fabric of American society. Its influence reaches far beyond the game itself.
And while we might argue about teams, players, strategies,
Right.
I think we can all agree that the passion, the camaraderie unites us as fans.
Absolutely. Whether you're rooting for the Chiefs, the 49ers, or any other team, we're all connected by our love of the game.
Exactly. Before we move on to the last part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We've been dissecting the Chiefs' success, what makes them so great.
Yeah.
But what about the role of luck in sports? What do you think?
That's an interesting one. Luck definitely exists, but I think its importance is often exaggerated.
Right.
You can't control every bounce of the ball, every ref's call.
It's true.
But I believe successful teams, they make their own luck.
How so?
Through hard work, preparation, a relentless pursuit of excellence.
I see. They put themselves in position to seize those opportunities.
Exactly. You might not control the outcome, but you control your effort, your attitude, your commitment.
So luck might play a part, but it's the teams that capitalize on their chances that truly rise to the top.
I couldn't agree more. It's about reaching your full potential, making the most of every single moment.
I like that. With that in mind, I think it's time to move on to the final part of our deep dive. We'll zoom out a bit, look at some broader themes, the bigger picture of the NFL.
Sounds good. The NFL is a microcosm of society,
It is.
reflecting our values, our struggles, our hopes.
Right. And by looking at the game through this wider lens.
We can learn a lot about ourselves and the world we live in.
Exactly. Let's continue this journey and unpack the many layers of the NFL. As we get into this last part of our deep dive, it really hits you that the NFL is so much bigger than just what happens on the field.
Oh, it definitely is. It's like this reflection of our culture, our values, even the things we struggle with as a society.
Yeah, a living, breathing thing, constantly changing with every season.
And with that massive influence, the NFL kind of has a responsibility to tackle important social issues, be a force for good.
I agree. And we've seen players, coaches using their platform more and more to speak up for social justice, equality, getting involved in their communities.
It's been great to see. And the league itself has taken steps to promote diversity, inclusion, although there's always room for improvement.
Right, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging to see the NFL taking that role seriously. Being a catalyst for positive change.
Now, switching gears a bit, I'm curious about your take on the business side of the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
It's a massive industry, billions of dollars, complex revenue streams, fans all over the world.
It really is. It's amazing how they've stayed on top, the most popular sport in America.
It's a testament to their marketing, their ability to create those compelling stories.
The drama.
Exactly. And they understand the media landscape, how it's changing.
They've embraced streaming, social media, fantasy football.
And yet the core appeal of the game, it's still there.
It is. It's a tricky balance to strike, but they seem to be doing it well.
They do. So thinking ahead, what about the future of the NFL? What trends do you see shaping the game down the road?
Well, technology is definitely going to keep playing a huge role, that's for sure.
We're already seeing it with player tracking, data analytics.
Virtual reality training.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
It is. And I think we'll see even more focus on player safety.
Right. All those rule changes, initiatives to protect players from concussions.
That's got to be a priority.
It's essential for the game's future, keeping players healthy.
Absolutely. What about international expansion? Any thoughts on that?
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? The NFL's really been pushing to grow their fan base globally.
They have. Games in London, Mexico City, Germany.
It's a big undertaking.
It is.
Yeah.
But the potential is huge.
Imagine the Super Bowl becoming this global event, fans from all over the world.
That'd be amazing. It could really solidify the NFL as a worldwide powerhouse.
It could.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap things up completely, I want to circle back to where we started. The Kansas City Chiefs. They're the team on everyone's mind right now.
For good reason.
That 8-0 start has shaken things up.
It has.
They're the clear favorites to win it all.
They are. But Like we talked about, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL.
Anything can happen.
They'll face tough opponents, unexpected challenges.
And if any team can handle that kind of pressure,
It's the Chiefs. They have the talent, the coaching, the experience, that mental toughness.
and they've got Mahomes,
Right. Rewriting the record books.
a generational talent, a game changer.
Surrounded by a team that's just as impressive.
So who knows what the future holds, but the Chiefs are definitely in a great spot to make history.
They are. They represent excellence, innovation, the drive to be the best.
And they inspire us, show us that anything is possible if you have the talent, the willpower, and that unshakable belief in yourself.
Well said. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the Chiefs and the NFL, we encourage you to keep exploring, questioning, stay engaged with the game.
There's always something new to discover, to learn.
And it's a game that reminds us about teamwork, resilience, that pursuit of excellence.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you've gained a deeper understanding of the NFL, all its layers, the challenges, the beauty of it all.
And we hope you'll stick with us as the season continues, all the ups and downs, the moments we'll never forget.
Until next time, keep those helmets shiny, those spirits high, and those conversations going.
And remember, the NFL is more than just a game. It's a reflection of our passions, our dreams, and the potential we all have within us.
Couldn't said it better myself.